Good morning, viewers, and welcome to Inside Agua Weekend Digest. In today's program, I have in the studio my usual co-anchor of this program in the person of Comrade John Mbono. Comrade John, welcome to today's program.
Thank you, Mr. Chima. Good morning, viewer. I wish you all happy weekend.
Thank you. Like has always been our practice, every weekend we bring to the studio people to join us in the discussion of the week. And in this weekend, we have in the studio a renowned student of Nnamdi Azikiwe University who is studying radiography in the Faculty of Science. The person of Mr. Ndobisi Justice. He's here in the studio this morning to join us in the discussion of today, which is the effect of the ongoing and lingering ASO strike. Mr. Ndobisi, welcome to today's program.
Thank you, my host, and I would say I am very much happy for availing me the opportunity to speak in your program. Thank you very much. And my viewers, I thank you all for always making our time to catch into the weekend digest with Inside Agua. Thank you very much as we entertain you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. You are welcome to today's show. Without much ado, we shall be hitting the ground now on the discussion of today. Yeah, gentlemen, we are looking at the lingering ASO strike and the effect is having on the students of Nigerians all over, particularly those in the government institutions.
Mr. Mbono, can you hear me?
Yeah, it seems that
Yeah, okay. Gentlemen, I think we had a little technical issues, but thank God we are all back now. Before the technical issue, I was calling on Mr. Ndubisi to run us through, give us a background study of this ongoing ASO strike.
Okay. Thank you very much, the hosts. You know, ASU strike, it has always been a recurring event. It's now more of a ceremonial something for the federal government and ASU, in the sense that it comes up almost every year, and I don't think there has been any ASU strike that has never lasted for up to 3 months. So you see, whenever there is strike, you see that the Nigerian students they would feel very much reluctant because they know the attitude of the government and their adamant. Well, the effects of this strike on the students is not a good one. But as we go on, I'm going to give us some areas where I think it's going to affect the students the most. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Ndubisi Justice. Comrade John Bono, yes, your opening speech on this topic of discussion.
okay, my viewers. Just like the first speaker spoke, ASU strike is never a good development to any student of Nigeria and even to the economy. But We have been unfortunate to have resolved this impasse between the striking lecturers and the federal government, which is unfortunate anyway. But then we should always leverage on every development, make out the best out of it. That is, I mean, I'm talking about the students. And again, the federal government should cut it a short to all of this nonsense, because I'm calling nonsense because of the effect it's having on our students. So I hope after this strike, we may not have another strike in Nigeria. I hope it will come to that point as the striking lecturer is actually pushing hard. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Comrade John Mbono Uchenwoke. We do hope that this strike does not continue, but in Nigeria, it has been a recurring issue. ASU strike, and we don't know when this will come to an end. All right, as we move on with this discussion, Mr. Ndubisi Justice, can you tell us in details what are lecturers actually asking for? And what is the government stance? What is the hope of the Nigerian students?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Host. I would say, you know, these lecturers, these lecturers all the years, it has always been about um, infrastructure via TED fund in the higher institutions. It has been about revitalization of schools and equipment. It has always been, they've always called it um, academia revolution. Now, looking at it from the current development now, when the federal government brought about the IPPIS as a platform for payment, ASU said no, that the integrity of that platform is biased. You understand? Now, ASU proposed UTAS, and the federal government said they were going to check up on UTAS, and UTAS went through integrity test. At least I think I can remember it scored above 78%, which is an A. If you're a student, 75% is an A, and he did well. Compared to UTAS that was flawed. Now the federal government said no. Now another thing is, ever since they have been discussing with the federal government, now the federal government said, okay, they are going to give them money, but they are not going to pay via UTAS. And another thing being that they are holding up on no work, no pay policy. Now the lecturers said that the 7 months they have been at home, they must be paid. The federal government said this is the major dispute now, because I think from their last meetings, some of these matters has been able to be resolved, but the issue of no work, no pay has been the most issue on ground now, and it has been the thing holding the strike back. Now, I would say from the meeting, the federal government representative and the VCs of universities in Nigeria, from the meeting they had, the federal government outlined their own concerns, and they also brought in the ASU concerns. And you would see that ASU are asking for 100% increment, which on my own side, I think is outrageous, based looking at the economic condition of the country. Now, the federal government are saying that they are going to give them 23% increase. On my side also, I would say 23% increase, they should have kind of increased it a bit for them. There should be a dialogue between them on this issue of salary increments. Now, another thing is they no work, no pay. So, okay, what did the VC say about the increment? They were kind of being mediators now. They were saying, okay, as lecturers shouldn't ask for 100%, then federal government should please adopt what ASU are demanding. Now, another thing now being no work, no pay. which the two sides have been able to hold their stand for 7 months now. Now the VCs are trying to beg the federal government. I think at this point, the federal government should sympathize with Nigerian students and know what it means to be at home for 7 months, as this is one of the longest strikes we are having in the country so far.
Thank you,
Now,
Mr. Ndubisi. In fact, you've done a noble insight into the cause of this problem, and one will begin to wonder, like you did say, we are all making pleas that federal government should be considerate enough and come to the rescue of the Nigerian students. Okay, the ASO strike is still lingering, but our concern should be that of the general populace of the Nigerian students. And that I'll be going to Comrade John Bono now. Comrade John, what should be the attitude of the Nigerian students now? What should they do? What is their role during this period that as long as this strike is still ongoing? What is your advice for the Nigerian students?
Okay, thank you, moderator. But first of all, I want to comment on some of what Mr. Kuchku, Justice said. One is the issue of no work, no pay. For me, that's whosoever that brought out that idea must be anti-education. I didn't get it when they say no work, no pay. Does it mean that our lecturers only teaches? The answer is no. Every lecturer is perform more than 3 jobs in the university. During academic session, a lecturer teaches, conduct research, and also carry out community development. What do I mean by this? A lecturer who teaches during academic session is performing the first primary assignment. Second, conducting a research is also to broaden the academic horizon. Then carrying out community development is also giving back to the community. So it is a madness for the federal government to come up with the option of no work, no pay. Because why all this strike keep on going? Lecturers kept themselves busy conducting research, writing articles, and going into community development. So it's annoying to come up with that idea. Then coming to the area of the effect on the student, it cannot be overemphasized because already it's even affecting the academic curriculum, which means whenever they resume the strike now, the lecturers will be forced to rush the students in order to go into the I think 2021-2022 academic session, because that of 2020-2021 academic session has not been finished. It's obvious. So saying that no work, no pay is a no option. Are you getting me? Then the effect on the students, just like I said, every Nigerian student know that we are not synonymous with strike. But then, like I did say in my opening speech, we should also make out the best of it. Then let me share this experience. During my undergraduate year, we had a strike that lasted, I think, up to 4 months to 5 months. But then I leveraged on it to conduct my BA thesis. I wrote my project, Why on Strike. So when school finally resumed, it becomes very easy for me to be submitting while my lecturer making the correction. I don't know if you're getting me. So students should not always see it as period of having fun, going to sightseeing and all of that. They should see it as the period of either to skill acquisition, acquire a new skill, as many as you can. Go into reading. Some people that.
Thank you, Comrade John Bono. You've just you've hit the nail on the head. sharing your experience during your days and what you did. I think the students watching us will draw some useful insight from that to ensure that it's not just we're on strike and then it's business as usual and then you relax. It's a time to work hard. It's a time to make sure you are up to date with your academic work, do your personal research, and more to that. You talked about skill acquisition. So some students can use this to learn a trade or the other, or get involved in one skill set or the other, so that when the strike is finally called off, they all go back to school with an additional knowledge added. Okay, I'll be going over to Mr. Ndubisi Justice. You are a student. Bono has shared the previous experience, but you are a student, a current student in Nnamdi Azikiwe University, 300 levels. How has this ongoing strike, affected you in your studies? And what are you doing now to keep yourself up to date? Let's hear from Mr. Ndubisi now.
Okay, thank you, my host. I want to say something on the points Comrade Mbono said. He said students should be able to leverage on this lingering strike and find what to do. Now, let me say something. Whenever there is strike, students are not praying that the strike lasts for 4 months, 3 months, and so. So you see, for the first 1 month, first 2 months, federal government and lecturers are discussing. Now it looks like strike is going to be called up soon. Now, let's say you now go and register somewhere you want to learn. Let's say a fiscal skill you want to learn. Maybe you'll be seeing the discussions and you'll be feeling like in the next 1 month, this thing will be called off and you'll be going back to school. And that one is a waste. You will now see that students will wait like 3 months, 4 months before they will be awake. Before they wake up to what is happening. The strike is 4 months, 5 months. By that time, they'll start looking for what to do. Now, if they now work for 2 months, 3 months, or even start learning anything, the strike is called off. You now see that at the end of the day, it's only students that have actually experienced these strikes, times with that number, that they are the ones that immediately the strike is on, they go into something. But what about the new students? What about the 100 level students that have not experienced strike? That's it. Okay. On my own side, there are some personal things that affected me, but during this strike, it has been, I think it has been the best period of my the times I've had, because I've been able to learn some stuff online. Let me just mention one of them. Ever since the strike started, by the grace of God, I got myself a laptop and I've been learning UX UI designs, which is one of the most sought out soft skills out there, both in the abroad and here in Nigeria. It is something that when you lay hands on, you are a hot cake in the market. Now, I'll mention some skills that Nigerian students, soft skills, they could get for themselves. There's something we call Web3, which is the current technology we are facing today, whereby you can be in your house and you get a remote job when you have these skills. A student can go into graphics design. You can learn it for 2 months or 3. You are okay. You can do graphics designing with your phones, They can do data analysis, this UX design, the UX UI design, that is user experience, user interface. Most especially the graphics designing, video editing. These are the things that are not going to take you much time. 2 months, you are done learning them. Now, other times you are into perfection. Like myself, like I said earlier, I've been able to learn the UX stroke UI designs, and it's been good so far, and I've been doing good. I thank God for that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ndubisi. In fact, you have just unboxed the source in this discussion, and that is the acquisition of soft skills. And we cannot overemphasize it. Students should use this opportunity to acquire one skill set or the other and prepare themselves for the future. All right, in the next few minutes, this program will be rounding up. Comrade John Mbono, I want you to share or give your advice to our students, because government and ASU It's not something anybody can say this is how it is or this is how it is. Only God knows when they will come to a logical conclusion. But our focus today is on our students, how to help them in this period of ASUU strike. So what is your advice, just in a minute, your advice to the students?
Like I said earlier, students should always make out the best in every sad situation. We do read a lot. I'm talking of people in the humanities. Such occasion like this or development like this calls for improving ourselves academically. That's it. I'm talking about personal studies and making out time to learn other skills, just like Ukuchukwu said. Now, let me say that yes, a student might not really know when the strike will call up, but we'll learn from history that there is no strike that have been existed in the history of Nigeria without lasting up to 2 months or minimum of a month, which most of these soft skills, one can learn it in 2 weeks, some 3 weeks and thereabouts. So I'm advocating that students during strike should not be idle. They should leverage on the development and improve themselves. Then another one is for the federal government. I want to say it here that the government should not see the chairman of the ASUU, Professor Emmanuel Osedeke, as someone that is not being considerate. I think the government is being the one that are not helping matters. Instead of them coming to dialogue, a mutual resolution of this impasse, some of their actions shows that they want to amputate ASUU. For instance, they've infiltrated some state universities in order to call off the strike at their own branches, and this is not good for the union. And so I'm saying that the federal government should prioritize education in Nigeria. For crying out loud, Nigeria have one of the youngest growing populations in the world, and youth investment cannot be overemphasized or cannot be achieved without education. So that is why I'm saying that the federal government should come out clear and listen to ASUU. And ASUU should not see that this is an opportunity to take their own pounds of flesh. Yes, we all understand the nature of the economy, that our dollar, our oil has not been selling as it were before. But then the federal government should show commitment. And that commitment is, how could you say from increment, out of 100%, you get 23%? It's not an option now. At least they should come up to 50 or 40%. Then we will know they are talking. Then for the student, like I said, they shouldn't wait until the strike is called off. They should start something, improving themselves. Thank you.
Thank you, Comrade John Bono. Thank you for that wonderful insight. And I hope that the students watching us will benefit from some of the points that are being raised here. Mr. Ndubisi has already given us an advice on to acquire soft skills. Comrade John Bono is pleading and begging ASUU as well as the government to come to an agreement and shift grounds, because they must shift ground for this strike to be called off. And they should also remember that we have students out there who are helpless. And some of these people who are holding forth, their children are outside the states, they are outside Nigeria. And the worst of it is that some of these students who are in private universities, some of them will graduate and their mates are still struggling with level 1 or level 2. So you see the imbalance, like Comrade John Bono said. So we are pleading that the authorities, whoever is concerned or has something to do with this strike, should please help the Nigerian students that this strike be called off and our students go back to school. Gentlemen, I'd like to thank you so much for these deliberations. But before we wrap it up, our guests in the house, I don't know if you have anything to tell our students before we wrap up the program.
Yeah, thank you very much. All right. Thank you. Like you know, thank you, my host.
Go ahead.
I think you're muting me. All right. Now, thank you very much. You'll always know as a student, I will always be on the side and for the betterment of students and Nigeria at large. Like I've said earlier, my fellow students, the only thing to do now is get the skills running. So when we go back to school, we use these skills to help and better our lives while on campus. Because when school resumes now, it is a battlefield. Education in Nigeria is now battle, such that when school resumes, you see yourself finishing an academic section with 4 months. We pray it doesn't happen this time around. Now, I'm a student of Nnamdi Azikiwe University, and if you are an aspirant, a 100 level student, that wishes to change your department to any department you like, you can reach out to me. I'll always be of help, because initially I was a physiology student before I moved over to radiography. Now, let me give you a little tip of what radiography is. Okay, radiography is a branch of health science that borders on the use of machines, medical machines, to get the imagings of the human body parts, so to help the doctor on proper diagnosis and treatment of the patients. So we have different specialties like the x-rays, the ultrasound scan, where you check your baby and what's happening around your body. We have the MRI scan, we have the computer tomography, which is the CT scan, we have the mammography, and so on and so forth. So I would encourage any student out there. It's a new course in the country, and it's a nice one. Thank you very much. Aluta continua, Victory Asata. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Justice, for coming to the program. And thank you to Comrade John Bono for being part of today's event, sharing your wonderful ideas and insights on how students can cope in this period of ASU strike. All right, gentlemen, I'd like to thank you for coming in for this program. Also thank our viewers. Please share this link to as many as Nigerian students you can reach, and also help us to populate and circulate the channel to all Nigerian students. We'll like to see you next week in a subsequent program, and I can assure you that every week we'll have one topic or the other to discuss, and I'm sure that you are going to benefit from all of this program. All right, thank you for coming. Over to the other side, we'll be having the Inside Agua news roundup, and Comrade Bono will be the one to lead us on that section. So do well to check us out on the next video talking about happenings around Agua in this past week. Thank you and God bless you. Bye.